Thank you very much. I appreciate how quiet you were. I can imagine you were quite amazed when you've heard the first sound and thought, I don't understand what they're singing. Our first song was in Latin, and it was called Da Pacem Domine. But the next songs that we're going to sing are going to be in English, and you'll be able to understand them. We're going to sing two songs about animals. They're very famous words by a poet named Hilaire Belloc and by a composer named Jean Berger. And it's from a group called A Child's Book of Beasts. The first song is called The Yak. Does anyone know what a yak is? Do you know what a yak is? What is it? Who knows? It's got horns, right. Does anyone know where you find a yak? And do you find it in Minnesota? No. Who thinks they know where to find a yak? In Africa? Yeah, you're pretty close. In Africa and in Tibet. And the next song we're going to sing is about a dromedary. Who knows what a dromedary is? Oh, there's a young lady in blue right back there. Right, it's like a camel, but it has one hump. Right. Now, the dromedary walks kind of slowly, and the yak moves very quickly. And you're going to, as you listen to the music, notice that the music goes like that, too. The yak song's going to be very fast, and the dromedary song, very slow. Thank you. We're going to try a song with two of our chorus members playing the flute as part of the accompaniment. The song is called Mountain Song, and the two flutists are Kim Shelly and Kavita Marfatia. And they're beginning flutists, and we probably need to tune up to make sure they're in tune with the piano. We have a couple boys and girls in the chorus who are going to do some solo things today. First, we have a young lady who goes to Fair Oaks. Her name is Anita Holbrook, and she's going to be playing a piece called Concerto Number 2. It has several movements. She's going to play the third movement, and Anita's been playing the violin for 6 years. If you haven't heard her, you're going to be really pleased, I think. Thanks, Anita. And now we're going to have a dancer out here. Her name is Jenny Weston, and Jenny is going to be performing to a piece called Sensation. Thanks, Jenny. That was really neat. We're going to do a piece of music now that's really a whole selection of pieces put together, one right after another. And when we do that, we call it a medley. Usually there's a central theme dealing with a medley, and this one has a central theme. All the songs in this medley were written by the very same composer. The reason we're doing this medley is because the composer is celebrating a birthday next month. In May, he's going to be 100 years old, and he's still living. He lives in New York City. If you watch TV in the next month, you're going to hear a lot of his music and maybe even see him. His name is Irving Berlin, and all the music that we're going to be performing now was written by Irving Berlin. Some of it's familiar to you, some of it will not be familiar to it, but it might be your introduction to some of his famous songs. In order to help you know some things about Irving Berlin, we have several narrators. Those people that are going to help you know that are Melissa Dunbar, Jeff Little, and Sarah Hendrickson. Also, we're going to have a couple soloists. They are Kathy Lawman and Dan Solovitz. This is called A Tribute to Irving Berlin. His name as a composer starts with a B, just like some other famous composers' names started with a B. Can anybody here think of other composers whose names started with a B? Here's one. What do you think? Beethoven. Good. And you think of another B. Another B. How about this fellow in the gray sweatshirt? Ben? Well, I don't know about him. Maybe. How about this girl right here? Bach. Now we've got Beethoven and Bach. Can you think of one more? Also starting with B. Brahms. Good for you. We're going to mention them along the way of learning about Irving Berlin.
Violin, but we know him better as Irving Berlin. Born in Russia in 1888, he came to America with his parents in 1892, where he lived in a basement in New York City. He got his first job at age 14 as a song plugger and later graduated to a singing waiter. Many of his parodies were made famous by Fanny Brice, and his first published work in 1907 earned him 37 cents in royalties. In 1909, he became very famous as a composer with a song called Alexander and His Clarinet. Irving Berlin changed the title when ragtime music came into style to Alexander's Ragtime Band.
Let me take you to Alexander's grandstand. songs continued to gain in popularity. He began shaping a new kind of hit tune, one which used one melody against another. This is amazing since Irving Berlin can't read or write a note of music. He hires arrangers to write down his melodies after he has picked them out on the piano. He plays the piano only by ear and only in the key of F sharp major. After a long time of not writing music, he composed a song in 1932 which has remained popular ever since, Easter Parade. This was followed by White Christmas and all the music for Annie Get Your Gun.
It was 1938 when one of Irving Berlin's most famous songs was heard for the first time. Kate Smith sang God Bless America on Armistice Day. This song continued to gain in popularity, and in 1955, President Eisenhower presented Irving Berlin with the Congressional Gold Medal. Mr. Berlin has turned all his earnings from records and sheet music to the Boy and Girl Scouts. As the composer of over 800 songs, Irving Berlin has often been asked how he composes a song. My keyboard is in my mind, he says. He usually starts with the words, repeating them over and over until he gets the rhythm he wants, and then adds the melody. From his home in New York, he has said, "You write in the morning, you write at night. You write in the bathtub, a taxi, or in an elevator. And when the song is all finished, it may turn out to be very bad, but you sharpen your pencil and try again.
You're in for a treat. Kaylee Sager is going to play a cello solo today, a piece called Zwei Tanza. You know, you are a big part of our concert today. As an audience, you are absolutely wonderful. It makes us sing so much better when we have a good audience to sing for. So we would like to applaud you as an audience. Now, I know that you're packed in there like sardines, and I'd like to take about 15 seconds to have you just wiggle up forward up to this black mark in the circle. So if you'll do that, that will relieve all those people back there. Oop, right there. That's good. Keep coming forward. There you go. You're fine right there. Okay, stop there. Now stop, okay? Does that help you back there? I thought it might. Okay. Please continue to be such a good audience. Thank you. We're going to continue with a song called Old Man Noah. Earlier we sang a medley of songs that went from one song to another. We're going to do the same thing, but this time it's all going to be songs you're familiar with. The piece is called An American Salute, and it has all sorts of famous American songs in it. Thank you. I think it might be interesting for you to know which of these boys and girls in the chorus go to Fair Oaks School. And so I'm going to ask them to raise their hands because it's hard to pick them out when they're all in a group and dressed alike. So the chorus members who are from Fair Oaks, raise your hands, please. Good. Sometime this spring, you may be auditioning for Select Chorus 2. Boys and girls in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade are eligible to audition for that. And you may be doing that with one of your music teachers this spring. And then in the fall of the year, I come to each of the elementary schools and audition the people again. And that's how these people are selected. There's 100 of them all together in grades 4, 5, and 6. And these boys and girls represent all 16 schools in our school district. Now, because Susie's on crutches, she had to get out of the way today because the next piece we're going to do has a little choreography. It's called We're on Top. Before we sing our last song for you today, I'd like to have you introduce a lady who's very important to the success of this group. Our accompanist, Mrs. Renee Sagmoe, she's a music teacher at Garden City Elementary. Would you give her a nice hand? The chorus has been in existence for 21 years, and for most of those years, we've finished our concerts with Let There Be Peace on Earth, and we would like to do that for you now.